I've been saying this, we're never going to get this. I don't think that there ever was a client list. Maybe there was at one point, but there's no way. This goes way too deep for them to just allow a client list to exist. I thought that was bullshit the entire time. But the thing is, they said they had it. Pam Bondi said she had it. And now they conclude that Epstein definitely did neck himself. But the same people the whole time were saying that there's no way. There's no way. Somebody definitely did this to him. What's going on? I don't believe anything. I don't believe any of these people. I don't believe Trump. I don't believe any of Trump's people. I think Trump is doing some good things. But I also think that he's a massive fucking retard. And I also think that he's evil. And I don't play the better of two evils bullshit. I think a big reason why this whole thing is getting squashed is because maybe some things about Trump came out, or maybe some things about some of Trump's friends came out and he just doesn't want it to come out. But also, it just runs too deep. It's worldwide. And I guarantee there's some stuff about Saudi Arabia, some people that are at the head of Saudi Arabia, and maybe Israel, that are going to be implicated in all of this. So it got squashed. It got shut down. Because you can't have that. We can talk about pedos and people who are pedos if they're not our friends. But if they are our friends, we can't talk about this. It's fucking stupid.
DOJ has released a 2-page memo stating that there is no Epstein client list.
I believe it. I think there wasn't the entire time. I think they lied about there being a client list.
And nothing uncovered would predicate criminal charges against any third parties. That is, my friend, you were all wrong. The conspiracy theories were all wrong. Jeffrey Epstein was simply a financier.
We were right about everything except for this one thing, apparently. That we were right about until they decided that we were wrong.
With a lot of rich friends who got arrested for trafficking and then killed himself. And there was no evidence about anything else. And he did everything by hand personally. Let me just cut through the BS. I am going to break this down. It's an obvious lie. I'm going to tell you why I think they're lying, and I think it's pretty obvious. But this is...
I wonder if he's going to say anything that I didn't say. He's probably going to say the exact same things.
Probably the most obvious
lie
of any lie ever told. And one need only logic and facts to break this down. Now, let me just give you the quick run through.
Either they lied or they lied. At some point they lied. Either now they lied or then they lied. Which is it?
Pam Bondi said she had the client list on her desk months ago. I'll pull it up for you. Pam Bondi released phase 1 of the Epstein documents. What was phase 2? Nothing? Come on. Nobody believes this. This is ridiculous. And I think the powerful elites, even people we know and like, are between a rock and a hard place. Think about the lost shareholder value when...
There will be so much money lost. So many things to shut down. The whole world's economy might shut down if we expose all of these powerful pedos. Well, I can tell you something. If the world leaders are allowing pedophilia to happen, and they know about it, and they know how to stop it, and they're not because it's going to cost everybody money, we don't need it. We don't. Fuck it all.
Is revealed to have been let me read the news for you first, and then we'll talk about who gets revealed and why. So the Post-Millennial reports, Trump, DOJ, FBI conclude Jeffrey Epstein killed himself.
Yeah, I do not care. When everybody's talking about politics, I do not care about politics. People talking about, oh, this is going to cost us this much money. Oh, these people are fraudsters. Oh, when it comes to actual evil shit, that's what I care about. The Epstein stuff, that's what I care about. The Diddy stuff, that's what I care about. The terrorism, burning down cars, burning down cities over some stupid social media movement that was pushed by corporate entities multiple times. Pretty much every fucking time. Everybody constantly lying, and this is one of them. Everybody's constantly lying. I care about that stuff. The money stuff, I don't care. And that's pretty much what everybody talks about, is just the money stuff. Oh, if this happens, the egg prices are going to go up. Who gives a shit?
find no evidence of client list. This systematic review revealed no incriminating client list. Doesn't mean there isn't one. But again, I'm going to stress, remember when Pam Bondi said the list is on her desk? So the DOJ released 11 hours straight footage from outside of Epstein's cell as evidence he committed suicide. Okay, I'm just gonna ask this question. Why? Like, why did he take his own life? There's no client list. There's no evidence of any involvement of any third parties in anything. So, I want to stress this. If they had evidence that Epstein was trafficking people, someone had to fly the plane. Someone had to open the doors and bring the underage children onto the island. There is no circumstance where Jeffrey Epstein is accused of this crime, and there are not conspiracies or accomplices.
And here's another thing, hot take. I don't know if it's a hot take or not, but like, I don't care whether or not Epstein killed himself. I don't care about that shit. Literally don't. That is a distraction. Because if he did kill himself, I'll tell you something. If he did, it was probably ritualistic. It was probably done because that's what had to be done. And he probably had it in his head before. And also he agreed upon it with a group of people that if he was ever to be caught, that he would rather off himself than give up everybody's names. Because they worship some crazy god. Because these people are like that. And it's this tale as old as time. All the creepy weirdos at the top who are doing the evil shit, they're always believing in some kind of weird gods, or they have some weird ideology. Oh, we're not gonna kill babies and chop off their heads and roll them down the steps for fun. No, we have to do it to appease our god.
No client list. No, and I got to read you the memo because it says it does not predicate charges for anybody else. So do they actually have this here? The systematic review revealed no incriminating client list. There was also no credible evidence found that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals as part of his actions. We did not uncover evidence that could predicate investigation against uncharged third parties. So the pilots, the facilitators of those underage girls. I mean, Virginia Giuffre existed. So hold on there. They did not uncover any evidence. Now, what does that mean? Oh boy, I hope you're ready for this one. Consistent with prior disclosures, this review confirmed that Epstein harmed over 1,000 victims. Each suffered unique trauma. Sensitive information relating to these victims is intertwined.
Only him himself, though. Nobody else. Nobody else was involved. They were, but they weren't because, like, we can't tell you about it.
Throughout the materials. This includes specific details such as victim names and likenesses, physical descriptions, places of birth, associates, and employment history. One of our highest priorities is combating child exploitation and bringing justice to victims. Perpetuating unfounded theories about Epstein serves neither of those ends. Okay, hold on. Thousands, over 1,000 victims. I got a question for you. Who gave the information to Epstein? Who transported the victims to his island?
He did all of that himself. It was all him. He had no help.
You know, it sounds like there's some uncharged third parties there that you're not charging for some reason. That's weird, right? They say. One of our highest priorities, blah, blah, blah. To that end, while we have labored to provide the public with maximum information regarding Epstein and ensured examination of any evidence in the government's possession, it is the determination of the Department of Justice and the...
If Trump doesn't crash out about this and get on these people's asses, I'm gonna just go ahead and believe that somehow he was involved in all of this. Like, Trump needs to come out about this and actually do some serious fucking work with this whole thing, because this is bullshit. This is worse than anything in fucking history, by the way. This is worse than JFK. This is worse than 9/11. And nothing's gonna be said.
The Federal Bureau of Investigation that no further disclosure would be appropriate or warranted. Phase 2 is nothing. Amazing. No, phase 2 is we're not giving you the documents. After a thorough investigation that goes on, the FBI investigators concluded that Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide in his cell at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in New York City on August 10th, 2019. This conclusion is consistent with previous findings, including the August 19, 2019 autopsy findings of the New York City Office of the Chief Medical Examiner. Hold on. Didn't that guy die? Epstein Medical Examiner dies. Okay, maybe I was wrong about that. I thought that I heard that somewhere. Let's see. There was the chief medical, Dr. Barbara Simpson. Yeah, okay, I was way. I was way wrong. Way wrong.
Well, there's a fact check. Good on you for fact checking yourself.
Let's see. It was Barbara Sampson.
Barbara
She
Sampson.
resigned.
I've heard of that.
Interesting. She resigned. Huh. Yeah, okay. My mistake. I must have she just resigned. Yeah, she just quit. Okay, I was wrong. Anyway, they want to say that Chief Medical Examiner, position of the U.S. Attorney's Office, with the investigation of federal corrections officer responsible for guarding Epstein, and the June 2023 conclusion of the DOJ's office, we get it. The conclusion that Epstein died by suicide is further supported by video footage from the common area of the special housing unit, where Epstein was housed at the time of his death. As DOJ Inspector General explained in 2023, anyone entering or attempting to enter the tier where Epstein's cell was located from the SHU common area would have been captured by this footage. The FBI's independent review of this footage confirmed that from the time Epstein was locked in his cell at around 10:40 p.m. on August 9, 2019, until 6:30 a.m. the next morning, nobody entered any of the tiers of the SHU.
Well, nobody entered through the typical means. We don't know how deep this goes. Shit's fucking crazy. It's crazier than movies. There could be hidden secret tunnels that go into the cell. We don't fucking know. We don't know. These people are crazy. It goes so deep. World leaders are implicated in this. They might have known that this was the cell that has the secret tunnel. We don't fucking know. I wouldn't put it past them. Or this is the cell that we can microwave his brain to make him want to off himself, you know? We don't know what kind of shit that they're doing. Because this is actual, above military leaders level shit. Come on.
During this review, the FBI enhanced the relevant footage by increasing in contrast, balancing color.
That sounds like a fucking shitty sci-fi movie. Enhance.
And improving its sharpness for greater clarity and viewability. Nobody. Wow. So Epstein was discovered dead by divine providence. Yes, right. The warden had a vision and said, the force is crying out to me. Or somebody went into his cell within that time period. That's what I love, okay? They say, let me say it again. No, from the time he was locked in his cell at around 10:40 p.m., around 6:30 a.m., nobody entered any tiers of the in the SHU. Okay. So how did you find his body? Could it have been that, listen, I'm not here to accuse any EMTs or prison staff. Somebody found him dead, and I don't think that the first person to enter would have been, listen.
Yeah, we're going to have to get every single little bitty piece of information about this because it's bullshit. If there's an inkling of bullshit, the whole thing is bullshit. And I'm smelling bullshit.
There's a prison guard, okay? Here's my imagined scenario, and I could be totally wrong because I'm just some dude who complains on the internet.
I think there's a secret tunnel because why the fuck wouldn't there be?
What do you think happens in jail when somebody dies? Particularly in, we have an image here, okay, because I'm picturing it in my head. Here's the image. Here's his door.
I'm thinking secret tunnel or mind control. Secret tunnel, mind control. It'd be so easy to fucking do. They can already do it. They can drive people mad to the point where they want to destroy themselves. Not even actually in themselves. There are people that will destroy themselves. They'll hurt themselves beyond repair without even trying to off themselves. But in this case, it seems like he did. But who knows? It could have been somebody going through a secret tunnel, offing them, and then leaving through the secret tunnel. Or they used mind control. And you can call me crazy, 10 years ago. But it's totally fucking viable now. That is a thing that we can do now. And we can use sounds. Vibrations that don't even register on microphones, but your brain registers it. Heartbeat guns. Heart attack guns. We got those. It literally could have been something like a tiny gun in the room. Shot him and made him go crazy with some kind of drug. You don't know. Or maybe he was given a drug that would make him go crazy. and want to off himself? You don't know. So many ways. And they're just like, nope. Nah. See, we got the footage of outside his door.
I'm assuming that's his door. I guess that's why they're showing us it. Okay. You can't really see in there, can you? Okay, so I'm assuming if this is the claim they're making, this is the footage. Okay. How do you know he's dead? Unless a person went in the cell.
That's a good point, Tim. How do we know he's dead? How do we actually know he's dead? How do we actually know?
This is the stupidest story. It's so dumb. I mean, somebody went in the cell. Maybe it was a prison guard. Listen, how hard would it be for a prison guard to just come in there and, you know, a little injection, who knows what? Or strangulation, and then go, oh no, he's killed himself. Show us the footage of when you discovered the body. Because even then, I doubt it's gonna answer any questions. That's entirely possible he killed himself. I've said it from the get-go. I just think it's very unlikely, but possible. The question now is, why? You can't even charge any third parties, meaning they're going to go to court. Listen to this, based on what they're claiming right now, that they got no evidence where they could charge uncharged third parties, right? So you go to court, Epstein's sitting there in a trial, and they say, look at all these abused girls. And you could be like, I don't know who those are. And they'll be like, well, somebody was flying them in. Somebody was housing them, making food, knew what was going on. Nope. Never happened. It's all fake. Name one person. Name one person who helped Jeffrey Epstein do this. DOJ can't do it. DOJ can't. Now, to be fair, apparently Pam Bondi says there's tens of thousands of videos. But let's work through this. Right now, Pam Bondi is getting a lot of heat. This is my favorite thing about this story. Watch this. This is from February 21st.
The worst thing is, like, what if she's not even lying? What if we're all giving her shit for no reason and her hands are tied? Like, it's such fucking garbled nonsense, web of lies and bullshit and evil. Fuck, man. It really, really makes me just so black-pilled. Like, Vanta Black.
2025. Bondi says Epstein client list sitting on my desk right now and is reviewing JFK and MLK files. There's no client list. Never existed. Pam Bondi just lied and said she had one. What? Okay. Now, hold on.
So who's lying? Who's lying here? Which one? And why has Pam Bondi still got a job if she's lying? So, like, I'm going insane.
Try to be reasonable. Strong possibility, however unlikely, but maybe. Pam Bondi had the original flight logs that everyone's already seen. They're unredacted. You can Google it. She had that and referred to it as a client list because she doesn't know what she's talking about. That's possible. Okay. But she also said that she...
But also, if she doesn't know what she's talking about, then why she got the job? This whole thing is retarded. Everybody involved is retarded.
She had tens of thousands of videos. Tens of thousands
Did
of
she?
videos. Do we have that pulled up? Well, here we'll do this one. This one's funny.
It's about to get worse. It's about to get so much worse, isn't it? Oh boy. Here we go.
Funny. Justice.gov, February 27th, 2025. Attorney General Pamela Bondi releases first phase of declassified Epstein files. Oh, first phase, huh?
Yeah, did you go through them? Because they were bullshit. Said nothing. There was nothing there. Whole bunch of stuff we already knew.
I love this. Phase one, give a bunch of binders to social media influencers showing information largely already public and nothing incriminating. Phase two, tell everybody there is no evidence, you're crazy, and they're just conspiracy theories. I love this. A two-phase plan. Why even release anything at this point? They're like, we got it.
Because they ran on it. They campaigned on it. Trump campaigned on it. That's why. And I bet all these people were blowing smoke up Trump's ass in order to get on board so they can get their own bullshit done. Like, come on.
Got to bottle cap this. Just get it done with. Say there's nothing going on. I love this. ABC. Oh, this is the same story, yeah. What else do we got here? People are bringing up this video of Dan Bongino. I'll play this for you. I like Dan. I trust Dan. But I'm going to play this for you.
Listen, that Jeffrey Epstein story is a big deal. Please do not let that story go. Keep your eye on this. Catherine Rumler, we need to keep the heat on this case, folks. There are a lot of people who are knee deep in the Washington swamp who are not telling you the truth about serious allegations out there that Epstein may have had video and audio of people out there doing things they shouldn't have been doing. And you should be asking yourself the question, how is it that all these people, the CIA director, the Obama fixer, Bill Clinton, all intersected paths with Jeffrey Epstein? Jeffrey Epstein isn't with us anymore, and nobody seems to want to talk about it. Outside of a few entrepreneurial media outlets saying, hey, this is a big deal.
He killed himself. You want me to I've seen the whole file. He killed himself.
Listen,
I love this. I like Dan. I don't think Dan is telling the truth. Or maybe he is, but understand the first video is not Dan saying Epstein did not kill himself. And people are trying to contrast this as if he's saying Epstein killed himself and then Epstein. No, it's not necessarily contradictory. He said they're not telling you the truth. There's a lot to this story. Then he gets in and says, yeah, I looked at the evidence, he killed himself. Dan's probably telling the truth. I think there's a strong possibility he's not. Well, did I say probably? Possibly. Let me break it down for you.
What if, whoa, hold on. But what if Dan Bongino was like, he actually didn't kill himself? The reason that we know that is fucking beyond belief. I wish he would, if that's the case, I wish he would have come out and said that. But I understand if that is the case that you can't say that there's like some crazy demonic rituals going on with world leaders. And like they've tapped into the spiritual realm. So like crazy shit. You could see there's something there on his face, some weirdness on his face that almost strikes me as like, he's kind of scared. Like this is some crazy shit. I don't fucking know, but I'm not buying that there's nothing that happened there. Not buying it. So I do not care about whether or not he offed himself. He necked himself. I'm getting that out of my brain. What I care about is everything else, everybody else. Epstein's dead. Fuck that guy.
But let me show you this first. People missed this one. On July 1st, the media had already been planting the seeds. This is the narrative game. The story doesn't need to exist. And I will tell you, as someone who worked in media, this is, what can I call this one? I can call this a fluffer story. That's what we'll call it. We'll call it a fluffer story. Don't ask your parents what that means. I'm kidding. Nobody should be. Anyway, mystery surrounds the Jeffrey Epstein files after Bondi claims tens of thousands of videos. Now, hold on there. July 1st, 2025. ABC, for literally no reason at all, ran this story where they said in, February of this year, Pam Bondi claimed she had these videos. Is that when it was? Where's the, it wasn't February. It was February. She claimed it was shortly after this the story leaked because James O'Keefe from Media Group got video of her saying there's tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with kids. Okay, hold on. ABC News writes this. It was a surprising statement from Pam Bondi as the Trump administration promises to release more files from its sex trafficking investigation on Jeffrey Epstein. The FBI, she said, was reviewing tens of thousands of videos of the wealthy financier with children or child porn. The comment made to reporters at the White House days after a similar remark to a stranger with a hidden camera raised the stakes for President Donald Trump's administration to prove it has in its possession previously unseen compelling evidence. Yet weeks after Bondi's remarks, it remains unclear what she was referring to. The AP spoke with people involved as lawyers or law enforcement officials in the criminal case of Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, who said they hadn't seen or didn't know of any trove of recordings like what Bondi described. Indictments and detention memos do not reference the existence of videos of Epstein with children, and neither was charged with possession of child abuse materials, even though that offense would have been much easier to prove than sex trafficking. So, Epstein sex trafficked was, let me pull this up. I want to get the exact charges, okay? What was Epstein charged with? I want to make, because it's trafficking.
So if they're right and Bondi is terrible at her job, why is she still there? Why? Tell me that. Like I don't understand. Is there nobody better suited for the job? Does she know too much? Like what the fuck?
Trafficking. I want to make sure I have The federal indictment, July 6, 2019, sex trafficking of minors to nobody, to no one, with just by himself. No pilots. He flew all the planes. He drove all the boats. There were no fixers. There were no coyotes, no traffickers, no illicit financiers. None of that. Nope. Just him. And he dead. Also, let's see, a conspiracy to commit sex trafficking of minors. Interesting. So why did ABC write this story 1 week ago? I'm going to ask you guys again. The story. The purpose of the story is to prepare in the mind of individuals when they eventually release. This is coordinated BS. I don't believe it for a second. There exists.
Yeah, it's all bullshit. I don't believe any of it.
No purpose, no reason to write this story.
And if they can't get this story straight, I don't believe anything. I believe nothing. They can all fuck themselves, and I will extend it all the way to Trump if he's going to say nothing about this and nothing's going to be done. And I don't want just to like, no, we're going to get to work on it. We're still doing really good work. I like Dan Bongino. Dan Bongino is doing incredible work over there. He's got other things that he's focusing on. Fuck everything else. Legitimately fuck everything else. I don't care about anything else at this point.
Nothing happened. There was no big question. Trump didn't give a statement. They don't even have a photo for it. It's just a video of Congress voting. Why? And this is ABC News. They wrote this story up saying officials inside say there is no documents and no evidence. And now what's going to happen is, now that the DOJ released the memo, later on...
it's crazy how ABC News is all of a sudden on board with something that the Trump administration's doing. You know, it's crazy. Crazy how this one aligns. Everything else is a problem, but not this.
They're going to say, this is ridiculous conspiracy stuff. Didn't you? Like, there was a story like a week before saying there was no videos. And then everybody acts surprised that that's the game they're going to play. No one noticed this story because the story doesn't need to exist. This is not news. That's why nobody talked about it. But it was placed specifically so that 1 week later, when they drop this claim that Epstein's client list is not existent, they can go back and be like, what do you mean? Everybody knew this already. The story was reported a week ago. Now I'm going to tell you why they're doing it. It's pretty obvious, and it's pretty easy. Some people say Dan Bongino is lying. I don't know that he is. But I'm going to put it like this.
Maybe he's not. But if he isn't, you know what it is? It's a deterrence. It's like hey, look over here. You know, it's a distraction. Have everybody focused on whether or not Epstein killed himself. Don't focus on everything else. That's what it seems like to me. Because it does not fucking matter. Does not matter. That'd be crazy if we had some evidence that he didn't. But since we don't, it doesn't matter. That's not the part that I care about.
Let's say, hypothetically, Bill Gates was flying around on Epstein's plane and, underage girls were being abused by him. Hypothetically. Okay? And not to single him out for any particular reason, but he's a wealthy guy and he runs a lot of big companies. What would happen if they actually released the client list or the blackmail list, or even, let's just say, Bill Gates?
Just anything, really. I'll take anything. Anything is better than what they're giving us, which is bullshit and distractions.
Let's say there's a video of Bill Gates lands on the island, and then Epstein's like, right this way, and he opens up the door, and there's some underage girls. And then Bill Gates goes, this is ridiculous. I refuse to stay here. You are an abusive man. Even if the video showed Bill Gates outraged and angered by it, people would then say, why didn't you say anything? Regardless, the scale here is from Bill Gates knew and did nothing to he was directly involved. I do mean this hypothetically because I don't know what he was or was not involved in. The point is, as a very wealthy man, who some people have accused, the shares in many publicly traded companies.
Also, so many people knew about this. Like, they knew about it, and it was just one of those typical situations where everybody's silent. You know, like with Diddy. Same thing, everybody's silent. Drake Bell, whenever he got abused, everybody was silent because nobody wanted to be the one to speak up. Because they were all protecting themselves. Who are those people? Who are those people that were completely silent about it, but knew about it? So far, it seems like Alex Jones was the only one that said anything.
Companies would collapse. Some of the people on the client list are probably politicians, princes. They're not going to give you this information.
Yeah, what if it's Netanyahu? I could see it. I could see it because they really, really, really don't want to paint Israel in a bad light.
You know, there's probably a lot of people run a lot of big companies, and those companies would free fall. It could cause a market collapse. It could cause
fuck them all.
World war, hypothetically. If the market collapses, which results in a run on the banks and then desperation, these things could precipitate great conflict. Understand this.
I don't care.
We are all chickens in a chicken coop. Okay? There's a great video. I do not use this analogy because I like chickens. There's a great video where a man was explaining the 15-minute city, something proposed by powerful elites, the World Economic Forum, etc., where everything you need is within 15 minutes. And he said, let me show you our current working 15-minute city. And it's a chicken coop. And he says, they want for nothing. They have no responsibilities. But I will come in whenever I need to, and I will take the eggs. But they get food whenever they want, and water whenever they want, and they get to be locked in this box. That's their 15-minute city. So in this story, my friends, here's what happens. The chickens, us, got word that the farmer was blackmailing people on some real devious stuff. But we don't know exactly what was going on or who was involved, and we were upset.
Actually, all right, before he gets into this, because this is probably going to be funny, here's my analogy. The farmer kicked one of the chickens, and now the chicken doesn't like the farmer, and then the farmer kicks another chicken. Now 2 chickens don't like the farmer, and now all the chickens don't like the farmer, and they just constantly attack the farmer. What's the farmer going to do? What's he going to do? He's going to be feeding his family. That's what he's going to be doing. He's going to be using you as the meat. That's probably what would actually happen. If all these companies went into free fall, all of the leaders that were behind it would probably use all their people to spark a civil war. Because they're not going to give it up. They doesn't matter how evil and fucked up they are. They're not just going to be like, oh, well, I guess I'm going to have to step down. No, they will fight back. If there's like 100 of them even. 1,000, 10,000. Could you imagine 10,000 world leaders? What would happen if all these people were caught being pedos? What would happen to the world? You know how fucking insane that would be to like thinking about what would fucking happen? It would be chaos. But you know, I'd rather that than people be allowed to prey on kids all they want. And in this situation with the chicken and the eggs and the farmer taking the eggs are literally our children. That's the analogy.
And so we started balking like crazy. And well, you know, the farmer gets arrested and then all the chickens are going. New farmers come in and they realize, hey, you know, this farm property, a lot of it's paid for by that blackmail money. It's going to cause a lot of problems if we admit it. To put it simply, we are like chickens in a coop. We produce, they take. The powers that be use it to their ends. It's a big club, and you ain't in it. And it's the same club they used to beat you over the head with. That's George Carlin right there. What's happening now is the powers that be say the collateral damage to our control structures would be too great for us to tell a bunch of chickens. They'll get over it. Or not. Who cares? Who cares? Well, here's a question I have for you guys. You can comment below. It's an honest question. Let's say that there's 10 powerful CEOs that actually were colluding with Epstein, and they're on video, they were blackmailed, all that stuff. And this would cause a collapse of the U.S. stock market. The market would collapse. Let's say a 50% drop-off, massive crash. Because people, foreign investors, they flee. Let's say there's some foreign
That and Americans aren't going to buy a bunch of products from pedo companies. Like, they will be like, oh, AT&T, they produce products and they're a pedo company? Well, I'm not going to buy anything. I'm going to go out of my way to not buy anything from AT&T. I'm going to find out everything about them, find all of the companies that are connected. Everybody will disconnect from these giant companies. It'd be absolute market chaos. And fuck them. Fuck them all.
Politicians, princes, crowns, like Prince Andrew. Hey, only guy in the Epstein list, I guess. Let's say all of that got out.
Here, let me pose you with a situation. So, you were starving, you were hungry, you were homeless, and there's a guy next to you, there's a child next to you, right? And he says, hey, if you let me do naughty things with this child in front of you, I will give you food. But if you say no, I will go away, but you don't get the food, and you starve to death. Which one are you going to choose? What are you going to pick? You going to starve to death? Or are you going to let terrible things happen to a child in front of you?
Would the collateral damage be worth it to expose the truth? I'm not saying the answer is no. Some people are going to say absolutely. To cleanse this world of evil, though we may suffer economically, must be done. The people who trafficked these kids and abused them should not be able to get away with it no matter what. But I tell you this, the powers that be ain't never going to give it up. They ain't never going to give it up. It's the One Ring. Not Epstein specifically, but
the One Ring, you know, trafficking ring.
Power and structures of this system. You inherit it and you say, with this weapon against our enemies, we can conquer them. And then the people yell, cast it into the fire, destroy it. And with a smirk on their face, they turn around and say, no. And they keep it. And then for thousands of years, we will live in this system. Let it be said, my friends, no one's stupid enough to believe there's no client list. What they're saying is Epstein didn't keep a client list. No. He has a list of clients, meaning there are a collection of names of the people that he was providing with this service and or blackmailing, whatever it may be. Come on. Okay, let's try this one. Phase 1 of the release of the files was always a prank. You got us, Pam Bondi. That was a really funny prank you pulled on everybody, claiming that there were tens of thousands of videos, a client list sitting on your desk. Phase 1, soon to be phase 2, all one big joke. Sure, believe what you want, I guess.
Yeah, this is why I'm an anarchist. Fuck them all. Yeah. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Democrats and Republicans, they just allow this all to happen, and they're part of it. They're complicit, and they're saying nothing. They're doing nothing except muddy the waters even more. They're just like actively throwing in more mud. And what Tim is right. Tim said about the One Ring, that's right. They just look back and they're like, oh, all the power in the world, though. Man. And then they slip that ring right on their finger. And every time it exchanges hands, same fucking thing. All the way until everything ends.